This time I have the pleasure of introducing Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters Interim CEO Nick Mork. Nick has a long history in Big Brothers Big Sisters organization. A big brother himself, Nick is the current owner of Cause Advancements, a fund development and consulting firm for nonprofits, and is also an adjunct professor at Arizona State University College, teaching fundraising and resource development. Welcome back to Yavapai Big Brothers Big Sisters.
I guess it goes back many years, but when Chief of Police says, I'm going to introduce a man with a long history. But he was talking about a different history, and I'm very grateful. I want to tell you how grateful I am to be here at this time. I have so much respect for this organization. I've known about it for a long time, much longer than I've been in Arizona. Kathleen Murphy, although she's a pest, I have to tell you that, made a point of searching out people who had something to offer. And she would take what they had to offer, and the other Big Brother, Big Sister agencies, take that program, tailor it to Prescott, and take off with it. This organization, I like to call it, it's a hyper-performing organization. It is the top Big Brother, Big Sister agency in the country per capita. The top. It is an organization that exceeds every national standard, not by a little, but by a lot. Its quality of service and the attention that's given to matches and taking care of the children, it's unparalleled in this country. And I think that's why it's possible to get so many generous community members and leaders into a room like this. You all know someone that's been involved. You probably know some child that's been a little that's become successful. They may not have disclosed that to you. Sometimes that doesn't come out right away. But this community, over the years with 10,000 active matches over the course of those years, has touched an amazing number of lives and made an amazing difference. So I want to say thank you to the organization for allowing me to have this opportunity. I also want to say thank you for the opportunity of getting out of this job on June 30th. Because, I mean, those cartoons you see with people scratching, putting X's on the wall. I'm not there yet, but I understand how someone could really look forward to that. And it's not just because I'm doing this as a volunteer, I'm serving without pay. It's because it is so intricate a job that things come at you all the time. You just can't get a handle on it. I'm sure a more practiced CEO could, but I'm not a more practiced CEO. I've been out of practice for a while. I am supposed to tell you a little bit about my history. I was the first employee of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Sedgwick County. We had 14 matches when I was hired. The volunteer board of directors had made those. It was an organization that I guess I was hired under similar circumstances because when I was hired I was told we don't have any money, so you won't get paid. So it was about 3 months before I actually got any money for serving, and so it'll be about 3 months here working without pay. So I'm ending the same way I started. I think that's beautiful in some way. When I left the organization, we had 5,500 kids matched. We had a budget of around $5 million. We had 33 offices in the state of Kansas, and I have to tell you, it was when I woke up in the morning when there was one employee and 14 matches. I knew there was a whole heck of a lot to do. but I didn't have as many problems or worries as when I woke up when I had 140 employees, a $5 million budget, that most of which had to be raised privately. So stepping back and becoming a consultant with Big Brother, Big Sister organizations around the country and getting away from that day-to-day was really a joy to me. And that's how I came to Prescott. I was asked to finish the capital campaign for their building. The person they had hired to do that had personal problems, really severe issues in the family, had to leave, and I agreed to step in and try to finish that last half of the campaign. I was really happy to do that. As I said, I've always admired the organization. Had I known that the bottom was going to fall out of the stock market 3 weeks later, and I'm out trying to raise money when people didn't know if their dollar bill was going to be worth 50 cents or less the next day, I may have rethought the timing. But it was successful, and thanks to a great board of directors and a generous community, that building is there, it's paid for, and a lot of good has been done. I want to talk just a minute about our vision as an organization. I was elected to the board of directors a couple of days before I got to be interim CEO. So our vision is to reach as many kids as need help in Yavapai County. And that's a lot of kids. We have a waiting list of more than 100, way more than 100. But there are many more kids out there that need our help. We know that because of the circumstances we see. So our vision is not to grow a little bit. Our vision is to serve every kid that needs our help. That requires financial resources and it requires volunteers. Something that in my discussions with people, since becoming interim CEO, I've shared with people that this organization relies on private gifts, private charitable contributions for more than 95% of its budget. There is no government grant providing a foundational floor. We don't have a big United Way influx of cash to sort of start the year with. On July 1st, we have to raise around $1.3 million for next year. And that's a big job. It would be a big job in any size community, but in a community this size, it really is, it's daunting. You all have proven year after year that it can be done, but it's not something that we assume. We know we have to go out and work for it. Luckily, we have Superwoman on staff. Juliana Goswick is the best peer fundraiser that I have. She is outstanding. And being a professor of fundraising, resource development, it pains me to say that I think most of her talent's natural and comes right straight from her heart. I don't think it's trained. It's not a result of any course she's taken or book she's read. She just believes in the organization. So I have to tell just one story. I hope it's a good story for a lot of reasons. When I first came here to help with the capital campaign, I was amazed that there are a lot of stories out in the community that hadn't been told. Bigs or littles who become very successful. One of the persons that I interviewed to get ready to present the case for why people should support our capital campaign, I met a nurse who was flying with the air medical service. You know, when you have a wreck, you go out with a helicopter. She was a nurse on that. She was, you know, like a very, very proficient, very tough young lady. Her name was Tina Alvarez. She told me that her big sister, she came from a really tough situation. One of the toughest probably any I've heard of. She told her that her big sister taught her how to use a toothbrush, how to comb her hair, clean clothes, just the basics. And she said, I was always mean, could always take care of myself, but, I didn't know anything. She was in school and having terrible troubles. Her big sister, according to her, saved her life. And helped her overcome so many difficulties. It was very moving. Toward the end of the interview, she said, I do want to ask you one thing, though. Is that Kathleen Murphy? Is that Kathleen Murphy? Is she still over there? Big brothers, big sisters? I said, well, yeah, she's the CEO. She's mean. She called me up and told me to do things. She was mean. I said, well, she still is. She hasn't changed. I want to close with some evidence. The chief talked about drugs, talked about juvenile crime, bullying, violence. The signature study for mentoring that really proved that what our claims, our anecdotal claims, our stories were actually real, actually backed up by evidence, was done by a group called Public-Private Ventures. This group, the national organization Big Brothers Big Sisters didn't ask for them to do it. Funders went to this group, and then Big Brothers Big Sisters of America was approached to do the study. It was a risky deal, because if that study had shown that Big Brothers Big Sisters didn't work, chances are I wouldn't be here, and I doubt you would be here either. Because, stories are great, but people need evidence. My organization in Kansas supplied kids for that study. I was really worried about it. We had the most kids of any organization in the study. I was worried because I saw changes after about 1.5 years, and they were going to look after 1 year. So I was afraid that it wouldn't fairly represent what happened. But as you can see on the screen, compared to their peers, which are kids in similar backgrounds, tough, at-risk kids, matched littles, 46% less likely to use drugs, 52% less likely to skip a day of school, 33% less likely to engage in a violent confrontation. That's huge. And it's repeated all the time. You see that in all of our programs. And finally, in Prescott, the most likely group to commit juvenile crimes are boys, 14 to 17. Our kids, matched little brothers, are 50% less likely to be arrested, to enter the juvenile court system than the general population. So not just compared to their peers, but compared to everyone, our kids are less likely to be arrested, which again, just speaks to the importance of what we do. It also speaks to the efficiencies, because it costs $40,000 every time a kid is put into the juvenile system and incarcerated. It makes dollars and cents to do something before these kids end up in jail. I hope that you all have been as inspired and as verklempt as I've been this afternoon. We really appreciate anything that you do this afternoon. We appreciate all the support that you've given to us over the years.
Nick, you're amazing, and we're so lucky to have you here. And it was said best, welcome back. We're glad to have you. Go out, spread the news that we have a lot of children to match out there, and we need the help of our community. Have a beautiful afternoon. Thank you.